Transportation Team USA is a barge transport through our inland waterways. The most recent data we have shows that barges move about 15% of total U.S. grain production, representing about half of all grain tonnage for export. But listen how efficient barge transportation is and how important it is. Only 1% of grain barge tonnage was destined for domestic markets. That makes sense. That tells us how critical the barge traffic through inland waterways is to agriculture and to foreign trade. The efficiency of inland waterway transport is key in making America farm commodities price competitive in global markets. Listen to this, as you know these facts better than I do. A single 15 barge tow is equivalent to about 216 rail cars stretching 2.6 miles, or 1,050 tractor trailer trucks stretching almost 14 miles if placed bumper to bumper. If the cargo transported on the inland waterways each year had to be moved by another mode, it would take an additional 6 million rail cars or 25 million trucks to carry the load. Of course, a key component of inland waterways is the infrastructure of locks and dams, and this is something the NGFA has been engaged in aggressively for many years for the infrastructure there. More than half of the locks and dams operated by the Corps of Engineers are over 50 years old. This means that barge traffic is moving slower on the Mississippi River, the Ohio River, and the Illinois waterway. By some accounts, it's experiencing more than 3 times the delay it did just simply 8 years ago. If just, you know the threats, if just one of those high traffic locks fails for an extended period, it has the potential of costing over 7,000 jobs, $2.4 billion in economic activity. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not just a maintenance issue, it's a competitive issue. A study sponsored by USDA showed that a 3-month unplanned closure of a major Mississippi lock during harvest would decrease economic activity by $933 million. That's why President Trump, early on with his infrastructure package, is committed to renewing our nation's infrastructure. Locks and dams along our inland waterways are a major part of his vision for vital infrastructure renewal. The President signed Congress's fiscal 18 budget that included more than $4 billion in investments for improving inland waterway navigation infrastructure. Well, who's the last runner? The last runner in the finish on Ag Transportation Team USA is the port system. And unlike the runners in truck and rail and barge, ports don't really carry goods anywhere. The port's responsibility is to quickly and efficiently receive and relay from those other runners, truck, rail, barge, to the ocean vessels that will carry the agricultural products to foreign ports of entry. Ports play a critical role in the movement of bulk and containerized agricultural products, connecting our producers with international customers. The larger locks and depths in the Panama Canal mean larger ships moving goods. To keep agriculture and manufactured goods flowing, our ports must be expanded and deepened for the larger vessels. The United States exports approximately 1/4 of the grain it produces. On the average, this includes nearly 45% of U.S. grown wheat, 50% of soybeans, and 20% of U.S. grown corn. And those are strong numbers. Approximately 55% of the U.S. export grain shipments departed through the U.S. Gulf region in 2017, of which a majority transited the Panama Canal on the way to Asian markets. While we are investing in the deepening of our harbors and our ports, we need to keep up the pace there as well. A report from the Soy Transportation Coalition found that shipping costs from soybeans from the Mississippi Gulf export terminals would decline, listen, $5 per metric ton if the lower Mississippi River is dredged from 45 to 50 feet. A deeper river will allow larger ships carrying more weight to pass through. Our nation is also investing in infrastructure around ports to manage the added traffic that will come to fill up more of those Panamax vessels. And I'm proud of all the efforts throughout port communities and inland communities to build inland ports, again, to improve our nation's transportation system. As American farms innovate, as that growing supply continues, increasing productivity, we in the transportation industry, all of us, must keep up with a dependable, efficient, affordable system of transportation. As I said, agriculture depends on transportation, and I believe transportation depends on agriculture as well. So we're all in this together. It's like I used to tell my children when I first went to Atlanta in the state senate. I sat them down, I said, kids, you all know that we share one of those reputations. You all can go to school and make me embarrassed to go to Atlanta. I can go to Atlanta and make you embarrassed to go to school. So just think about that.